What's going on? Welcome back to Michael Tells. Today we've got a story from a guy named Peter, 38, owns his own company. 3 years ago, a woman humiliated him in front of everyone at a bar. Today, she walked into his office asking him for a job, with no idea he was the boss. Yeah, let's get into it.
I want to start by saying I'm not a guy things happen to. That's the part that still gets me. I'm not dramatic. I'm not unlucky. I'm the most boring man you'll ever meet, honestly. And this is still the story of my life. So, here it is. My name's Peter. I'm 38. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. Well, just outside it, in one of those suburbs where every third house is the same house. And I own a commercial HVAC company. Heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, the big stuff, for office buildings and grocery stores and warehouses. Not the guy who comes to fix the unit in your house. The guy whose crews keep the walk-in freezer at your supermarket from dying in July. I built it myself. And I don't say that to brag. I say it because it's the whole shape of who I am. I started with one used van and a set of tools I bought on a credit card I was scared to look at. Now I've got about 90 guys on payroll. 90 families, if you count it the way I count it. 2 shops, a fleet of trucks, contracts all over the metro. It's not a huge company, but it's stable, it's real. In 12 years, I've never once missed a payroll. And if you knew what that sentence costs, you'd understand why I'm prouder of it than anything. And that's the thing, right? I poured everything into it. Everything. Which is a real polite way of saying, I'm 38 and I've never been married. No kids. Came close once in my 20s, but she got tired of me choosing the business. And honestly, she was right too. After that, I just stopped trying, really. Told myself I'd get to it. The company was easier. The company never got tired of me. You put the hours in, you get something back you can measure. People aren't like that. I did not know how true that was about to get. Okay, so 3 years ago, we just landed the biggest contract in the company's history. Whole chain of grocery stores, every location, multi-year service deal. My guys had busted themselves for months to win it, and we did. And so I took the core crew out downtown to celebrate. Nice bar, the kind with the good bourbon and the exposed brick, place called the Standard. And I'm not a bar guy. I want you to understand that. I'm the guy who has 2 drinks, laughs at everybody's jokes, and thinks about leaving by 9:30. But that night I was happy. Genuinely top of the world happy. We'd done something real. And I saw her across the bar. Dark hair, black almost. This kind of sharp, put together look, sitting with a group of her friends, laughing at something. And a couple times, I swear it wasn't just in my head, a couple times we caught eyes. And she'd hold it a second and look away with a little smile. You know the thing. And my guys clocked it because my guys clock everything, and they started in on me. Go talk to her, Pete. When's the last time you talked to anybody who wasn't a compressor? Real supportive, my crew. And I don't do that. I never do that. But I was 3 bourbons brave, and I just had the best day of my career, and I thought, you know what, for once, I'm going to be the guy who walks over. So I did. Walked over. And I wasn't smooth, but I wasn't a creep either. I just said, hey, I'm Peter. I saw you from over there. I figured I'd come say hi instead of just being the weird guy staring. And she looked up at me. And she was drunk. I could see it now that I was close. Drunker than she'd looked across the room. And she kind of smiled. But it wasn't a nice smile. And she looked me up and down, slow, real slow, making a show of it. And then she turned to her friends, not to me, to her friends. And she said, loud enough for the whole corner of that bar to hear, "Oh, honey, no. You are so far from my type, it's actually kind of sweet that you tried." And her friends laughed. And then, 'cause once wasn't enough, She looked back at me and she goes, "Seriously, look at you. What did you think was going to happen here?" And my guys heard it. That's the part. The whole point of me walking over was that my guys were watching, and now my guys were watching this. This grown man, the boss, the guy who just landed the contract, standing there getting laughed at by a drunk woman and her friends in front of his own crew. I did the thing you do. I smiled, like it was fine, like it rolled off, said fair enough or something, and I walked back. And about 20 minutes later, I said I had an early morning and I left. And in the car, I just sat there. 35 years old, sitting in a parking garage, feeling 14. And here's what I want you to know. It wasn't even that she said no. A no is fine. A no is a Tuesday.
It was that she took a good day, maybe the best day I'd had in years, and she made me small with it, on purpose, for sport. Because I was an easy target and her friends were watching, and it was funny to her. It stung for a couple weeks, and then, the way things do, it faded. And within a couple months, I'd honestly forgotten it, buried it under invoices and service calls and the 10,000 things a company that size throws at you every single day. Her face, her voice, the whole night, gone. Filed away in the part of your brain you never opened on purpose. I would be opening it again. 3 years go by, and I mean 3 normal years. Company grows, I hire, I fire, I sign leases, I coach a little league team on Saturdays for the sons of a couple of my foremen. Regular life. And we needed an office manager. Our old one, Carol, she was retiring after 9 years. And if you've ever had a great office manager, you know that's not a hire. That's a heart transplant. She ran everything. So I was taking it seriously. HR set up interviews, and for the final round, I sat in myself, along with Carol and my operations guy, Dave. 3 of us on one side of the table, candidate on the other. Real formal. I wanted Carol's blessing on whoever we picked. Third interview of the day. Door opens, and a woman walks in with a folder and a nice blazer and dark, almost black hair. And she takes about 2 steps into that room, and she stops dead. Because it's her. And I knew it in my whole body before my brain even caught up. It's the woman from the bar. 3 years older, sober, dressed for an interview, but it's her. Same face, same dark hair, and her name? I'm looking down at the resume on the table in front of me, and her name is Margot. And here's the thing that hit me like a truck. She knew me too. Instantly. I watched it land on her exactly the way it landed on me. Her eyes went to me, and everything just drained out of her face. She went white. She actually took a small step backward toward the door, folder against her chest like a shield. She was going to bolt. She was going to make some excuse and walk right back out of that room. And I don't fully know why I did what I did next. Some instinct. I said, calm as anything, "Margot, come on in. Have a seat. We don't bite." And Carol and Dave, they've got no idea. To them, this is just a nervous candidate. But Margot and I are having an entirely different meeting, silently, across that table. She sat down, slowly, would not fully look at me. And I'll tell you, the interview itself was good. Once she got past the shock, she was sharp, really sharp. Organized, experienced, asked smart questions, clearly knew the work. Carol was nodding, and Carol never nods. On paper and in person, she was the best candidate we'd seen, by a mile. And when it was wrapping up, I did something. I said, "Carol, Dave, give me the room a minute. I've got a couple things I want to go through with Margot one-on-one." And they filed out, thinking nothing of it, and the door clicked shut. And it was just us. And I didn't even have to bring it up. Before I said a word, she just closed her eyes for a second, and she said, "You remember?" And I said, "The standard, 3 years ago. Yeah, I remember." And she didn't grovel, I'll give her that. At the time, I thought it was a point in her favor. She didn't fall apart, didn't do the big weepy apology.
She just kind of laughed, this tired, disbelieving little laugh, and she said, "Of all the offices in this city, I did not think life could actually be this cruel." She said something like, "I was a different person then. I was going through..." It doesn't matter. That's not an excuse. What she didn't say, and I noticed it even then, but I let it slide, what she never actually said was, "I'm sorry." Not right then. She said it was cruel that this was happening to her. She didn't say it was cruel what she'd done to me. I heard the difference. I chose not to hear it. Because here's the truth, and it's not flattering. Some ugly, small part of me liked it. Liked that the woman who'd made me feel 2 feet tall in front of my crew was now sitting across my desk, in my building, needing something from me. There's a power in that. And I told myself I was above it, but I wasn't. I don't think I was. And so I said, "Here's what's going to happen. You're the best candidate we've seen, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise to protect my ego. The job's yours. 90-day probation, same as anybody. What happened 3 years ago stays 3 years ago. Clean slate. Deal?"
And she looked at me like she was waiting for the catch. And there wasn't one. And she said, "Deal." And we shook hands. And that was the second time I ever touched that woman, and the first one had ended with a whole bar laughing at me. So she started. And, God help me, she was excellent. Best hire I made in years. Carol trained her up and retired happy, which is all I wanted. Margot ran that office like a Swiss watch. The crews loved her. The vendors loved her. She caught billing errors that had been costing me money for years. 90 days came and went, and I made her permanent without a second thought. Purely as a business decision, she earned every bit of it. And somewhere in those first 6 months, something shifted. It was slow. It was in the little moments. Her staying late, me staying late, talking in the empty office about nothing. Her dry sense of humor, which turned out to be the best thing about her.
I started looking forward to Mondays, and a man who owns a business does not look forward to Mondays. I knew what it was. I wasn't dumb about it. I just let it happen. And after about 6 months, I asked her to coffee. Not at the office, a real outside of work, this is a date coffee. Little place on a Saturday, nothing fancy. This hole-in-the-wall cafe with mismatched chairs. And we talked for 3 hours. And that's the day she finally said it. She put her cup down and she got quiet and she said, "I need to say this. That night at the bar, I was awful to you. Not just, no, I was cruel. And you didn't do a single thing to deserve it. And I've thought about your face more times than you'd believe. I was so ashamed when you walked into that interview, I wanted the floor to swallow me. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm really, truly sorry." And man, I can't tell you what that did to me. To hear it, finally. The apology I didn't even know I'd been waiting 3 years for. And I believed her. Completely. I thought, people grow. People change. The drunk, cruel girl at the bar wasn't the real her. This was the real her. This thoughtful woman apologizing over bad coffee. I built a whole story out of that afternoon, and I wanted so badly for it to be true that I never once asked myself if it actually was. And after that, it just bloomed. Slowly, then not so slowly. And within a few months, I was happier than I'd been in a decade. I'm not going to give you the play-by-play, but I fell for her. Hard. At 37, with a woman who 3 years earlier had laughed me out of a bar. Life's a comedian. Now here's where I did what I still think was the right thing, even knowing how it ended. I have a rule. Always have. I do not date people who work for me. It's not fair to them, it's not fair to the other 90 people, and it turns the whole company toxic the second it goes wrong. And I was falling in love with my office manager.
So I sat her down and I said, "I can't be your boss and your boyfriend. It's not right. So I'm going to do something, and I need you to hear it as the opposite of firing you. And I asked her what she actually wanted to do, her real dream. And she lit up, and she said she'd always wanted her own nail salon, her own place, her own chairs, her own name on the door. And I made it happen. I took her off my payroll, cleanly, generously, with a good severance. And I funded her salon. I co-signed the lease, I put up the startup money, I helped her find the space, I was there till midnight painting walls. Her dream. And I was glad to do it, proud to. This woman who'd been so cruel to me was now building something beautiful, and I got to be the one who made it possible. I thought that was the whole story. Guy meets girl, girl humbles guy wins girl, guy helps girl fly. Nice arc, good movie. The salon did well too, right from the start.
Busy, good reviews, she was good at it, good with people when she wanted to be. For about a year, life was just good. I'd stop by after my last job site, bring her a coffee, watch her run her little kingdom. I thought I was looking at my future. It was a Thursday. Late. I'd finished a job across town, and I was driving home, and I thought I'd surprise her. Salon was supposed to be closed, but the lights were on in the back, and I had a key because I co-signed everything, and I let myself in thinking I'd catch her doing books, maybe bring her dinner. And I did not catch her doing books. I'm not going to spell it out. I don't need to, and I don't want to. There was a man there, in the back, and the two of them... I walked in on exactly what it sounds like I walked in on. In the salon. The one I built her. On a Thursday night when she told me she was closed and catching up on paperwork.
And I just stood there in the doorway. Same way I stood in that parking garage 3 years before. Feeling small. Except this time, it wasn't a stranger at a bar. This was the woman I'd rebuilt my whole life around. I don't remember exactly what I said. I know I didn't yell, which people find surprising. I think I was too hollowed out to yell. I think I just said her name once, and then I turned around and I left. And I sat in my truck in that strip mall parking lot, and I laughed. This awful, empty laugh. Because a parking lot. Again. It's always a parking lot. And then it got ugly, in the way real life gets ugly, which is through lawyers. Because see, I'd co-signed everything. My name was on that lease, my money built that salon, and now I wanted out, and she wanted to keep it, and suddenly the woman who'd cried over coffee and apologized so beautifully had a lawyer and a very different memory of who'd paid for what. It dragged on for months. Filings, counter-filings, my accountant on the phone every other day. I won't bore you with it. It cost me a lot more than money is what I'll say. In the end, we settled, the way you settle. Everybody a little robbed, nobody satisfied. And here's the thing I keep coming back to. The thing I've turned over 1,000 times. She showed me who she was on the very first night, at that bar. Cold and cruel and happy to hurt somebody for sport if it made her look good in front of the right people. That was the truth. That was her, unfiltered, with the drink stripping the polish off. And then for 3 years, she showed me a different person. The sharp professional, the woman who apologized so well, the dream chaser. And I believed that one, because I wanted to, because it made me the hero of a better story. But the bar was the real her. The apology was just a better performance. I mistook a role for a change, and that's on me.
She told me the truth the first night, and I spent 3 years and most of my savings trying to prove she hadn't meant it. My grandfather had a saying, old country saying. Roughly it goes, only the grave straightens the hunchback. People don't change their nature, they just get better at hiding it, or worse at hiding it depending on the drinks. And when somebody shows you who they are, really shows you that first raw time, you are supposed to believe them. The first time. Not the third. Not after the apology. The first time. I didn't. I thought love was seeing the good in somebody nobody else could see. Turns out sometimes what nobody else can see is just not there. And you painting it in yourself doesn't make it real. It just makes the fall longer. I'm okay now, mostly. Company's still stable, still 90 families, still never missed a payroll.
I still coach the Little League on Saturdays. I don't go to the Standard anymore.
Can't imagine why. And I'll tell you the one thing I actually kept from all of it. Not bitterness. I'm trying real hard not to keep the bitterness. Just this. When somebody shows you the ugly thing, one time, before they've had a chance to dress it up, look at it. Straight on. Don't explain it away. Don't wait for the version of them you'd rather have. Believe them the first time. That's my story. That's the expensive lesson. I hope it was cheaper for you.
She showed him exactly who she was that first night at the bar, and he spent 3 years trying to prove she'd changed. Believe people the first time they show you. If this one hit you, drop a like and subscribe. I've got another story for you tomorrow.